Again, fighting crime, but we're looking at an area that I'm so intrigued by. And I'm excited to welcome Robert K. Boyce to the program. He's going to talk about New York homicide. Robert, thanks for stopping by, and thank you for your service, as I said, and appreciate everything that you do. Thanks again.
Thanks, Dale. It's great to be with you today.
All
Thanks for
right,
having
so
me on.
let's talk about your career really quickly. Kind of just jump into your career and how this whole New York homicide thing got in started.
Sure. So I came on the job in 1983. I came on a little bit older. I was 27 years old in the police academy, and I did 35 years. Left in 2018, and the city changed dramatically in that time when I came on. So I was part of that, and we carry that with us. Us 80 cops, as we call ourselves. So it's how the city changed and how all of a sudden neighborhoods grew out of nowhere, and just completely revitalized. We were all part of that. It was very gratifying to do that. So I retired. I was very fortunate in my career. Retired as Chief of Detectives. I worked till my last day, Neil, where legally I could not work another day. So I wasn't shown the door. I was told to leave. I had to by law to leave. I didn't want to, but I did. And so in the aftermath of that, 2020, along comes George Floyd, and the backlash against police across the country. Very disturbing, because I know how hard we worked to turn the cities around in this country. So Hollywood producers came to me and said, "Would you like to do a TV show about New York crime and what you did?" I said, "Yes, I would, because I want to show people what a good cop can do. It's that we're not that. We're not these monsters that are lurking around here. We're hardworking people, and we bring justice to people, and we bring a better life to the city of New York." So that's how it got started. So now I've just finished filming season 3. We're in mid season now. We're just about to start episode 9 on Saturday night. And so that's where we are right now. And it's been incredibly rewarding. And
Absolutely.
for me personally, I get to talk to my detectives again. It's a lot of fun. And they pull these cases out of their head like you wouldn't believe. They just don't remember every little detail. So we choose the cases. I'm one of the consultant producers with my wife, who's a retired detective, a homicide detective. And we choose it, and we think, what can we, because sometimes the cases go so quickly, you can't really draw them out into an hour. So these cases are, and they're all 5 boroughs in the city of New York, in every little ethnic enclave that we have, not only Manhattan, and they're really important. This season especially, and I'm not saying that's because of them now, but I never thought that we bring some of these cases to light. We have 2 serial murder cases, horrible case, and that we're able to do. We have 2 murder for hires, so 2 hitman cases. We have an assassination case of a news reporter in Queens, that we had to bring in as a transnational issue. We had to bring in the DEA task force. This is really intense stuff here, and we try to do it in an hour's time. So we move very quickly through the episodes, and you'll see the detectives. You don't sleep much when you get these cases. You get them, and you varied sleep, poor diet. You just keep going. It's all about coffee, that we become addicted to. So we want to show that. But the primary here is showing the victims' families and friends, because that's what breaks your heart, and that's when you watch the show, and that's what drives us. So a lot of the family comes on, and you see them; they're still in pain. They'll never be the same person. Their hearts are broken. They're broken people. Their spirits, but they know they have to go on, and how that generation of the family will never be because of the loved one that was killed. So they come on. They also contribute to the show mightily, as well as prosecutors. It's important to show the whole package and how a case evolves and how you pivot, because you go in one direction, that's a dead end. Now you have to start all over again, go back to your original paperwork, see what you missed, then go in that direction. We try to show that as best we can.
You think about specifically enough homicide, and you're telling me some of these cases happen in New York, and they're all different types of people, some of these crimes, right? Some are organized crime, some specifically just a murder for hire. It's different things. So do you think art imitates life? What we're seeing in these other homicide shows, they're on TV all over the place. Are they really the truth of what you dealt with, or is it really not true? Some of it,
Well, the
like,
scripted shows are a little bit different. I get your point completely. The scripted shows are a little bit different. They get taken different. It's torn from the headlines, they'll say, and I'm not putting it down. It's really compelling television. It really is. And I grew up on it. I started watching Kojak when I was a young guy. and I really was really was plugged into it. I really liked it, and so I always wanted to be a detective squad lieutenant, just like Telly Savalas was. I was that. Then I went off from there. I achieved that fairly early in my career. I was very happy with it. Next thing I went, all right, let me go on and take the captain's test and move on from there. So, but we have to stay on script. We have to stay with the truth. We have no editorial license at all. We have to stay exactly what happened and how it happened and the time frame it happened in. So those things are important to understand with true crime versus scripted shows. Both are entertaining, but with true crime, it's what you get. There's no outside influence of it all.
So you think that they're almost reality does imitate art in some of they're doing a pretty good job with these crime shows compared to what really you
There's no
went through?
question. You see the suit and tie. My
Yeah.
detectives wear a jacket and tie and suits. That's life. That's art imitating life. And the mob is just the opposite of that. But when you do mob
And now
cop
how
shows,
many is the mob still around? Absolutely.
they certainly are. We do it. We do a OC case. We've done one already in the Bronx that we thought was OC. It turned out to be something wholly different. It was organized crime, but it was a blood gang member who was doing the shooting. We thought it was either Italian or Albanian crime families. It wasn't. I don't want to give it away, but
Yeah.
it's an important show to show that there's still an influence here. There still is, and maybe as we go on, we'll have more organized crime related stuff. We did a show that we thought was the media said it was organized crime. It was, but it wasn't. It was a murder of a pizza owner L&B Smoking Guns. If you're from New York, you know L&B. It's a great slice. And he was murdered on the way home one time. Clearly, it was a robbery, but there was a lot of mob shadows, let's say, involved in the show. It had nothing to do with the mob. And that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Most people call organized, they say mafia. We don't say mafia in New York. We say OC or mob.
I would love to have a cup of coffee with you at one point in time and talk about these war stories for sure. All right, here's the final question of the day. This is a really thought-provoking question. My co-host, Greg Hanna of Toss C3, could not show up today, family emergency, but here's the question for you. What is the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Most important thing in life is how valuable human life is. And so when you see it snuffed out in any way, it could be a car accident or something, it stays with you. So the value of human life, because when that person is taken early in life, that whole generation stops right there. They'll never have, he or she will never have a family. So that's a lesson when in policing, when you look at it, you see the importance of human life and to preserve it. And so that's the way I look at things. That's how I approach things. You'll see in your career things that you can't unsay. But you remember what's really important in life is that preserving life and giving people a better life. Preserving life is the number one thing. I hope that answers your question.
It's fantastic. And so, how do you deal with this? How are you able to deal with seeing death and investigating? I'm a huge fan of Dexter, by the way. I love I went and binge watched the whole Dexter series, and now there's another one, and oh my goodness! And I'm learning this stuff, and I'm like, man, how do you guys get up every morning and go to work?
We call it a professional detachment, where you just have to just understand what your role is here. Is that because we've seen, we go to every year we go to 9/11 uh, to check us out because we were exposed to the toxins of 9/11. So every year, me and my wife go, and they always say, and there's a psychological part of it, and they say, "Have you ever seen dead bodies?" Yes, we have. This is what we did for a living. Have our body parts? Yes, we have. This is what we did for a living. So you understand your role in life. That the only way you're going to be able to do it is be professional. You have to work for that person in any way you can, whether they were murdered or killed accidentally. Do the best you can, and you have to put that aside and just go forward. And sometimes it's not easy, especially with children. You see, when you see children murdered, it's very, very tough. And I applaud the people who work in those child abuse squads because you see it every day. It's rough. So you need to develop that skin, that tough skin, understanding, never losing your humanity, but go forward that way and understanding that this is your job. You're different. You're able to handle it. Not everybody can, but always remember the humanity of it and your role. And you're actually making a difference.
All right, awesome. Check out New York Homicide on Oxygen, and you can check out the new season there. Right? Appreciate it, Robert. Thanks again, sir. All right,
Thanks,
you're
Neil.
listening and watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.